Hello, everybody. Welcome back. So this recording is not going to be. So this recording is not going to be your average video from me. It's not going to be pointers or inquiry or any of that. What this is going to be is I just want to address something that Betsy and I get asked about a lot, and that is whether we're in person or we're on the internet or whether it's somebody who knows us or somebody that never met us before. It just doesn't matter. What we get a lot is we get a lot of commentary, a lot of positive comments about our relationship. And it's, golly, you have the ideal relationship or you have a perfect relationship or wow, or, just you seem to just be so in love. You seem to be having so much fun. You're laughing all the time. What is going on over there? And what I want to tell you is going on over here is the fact that I am very, very deeply in love with my wife. It's a funny thing to say, isn't it? Shouldn't be, but it almost is these days. And strangely, my wife, who has no better taste in men than to come up with this, loves me, loves this unit, loves Fredness. I love Betsiness, and I love that unit. In other words, the conditioning over there is something that I have come to that has endeared itself to me, and I love what comes through the unit, and I love the unit itself in the sense of it is it's a wonderful thing to have somebody to sit with or somebody to curl up with or whatever. It's I can't we're getting old now. I turned 70 this year and Betsy will turn 70 next year. And so a lot of older people, once they become empty nesters and all that kind of stuff, they tend to go at it a lot. I mean, we have a lot of clients that have done this or are doing it now. And I just want to let you know that if you're seeing a lot of that doesn't have to be your relationship with your significant other. It just doesn't. This relationship, like Betsy and I have, is open to everybody that is willing and able to pay the price to get it. And the chief price is being honest with yourself. Because Betsy is awakened, and a rumor has it so is this thing. And but of course Betsy's not awakening, neither is this thing. It's really awakeness is awake to itself through the Betsy unit and the Fred unit. So, and we're conscious of that. See, this is the big deal, is awakeness is coming through every unit. There's not only awakeness, it can't not be. Awakeness is the unit itself, and it's coming through the unit. And it can't just simply cannot not be. But to be conscious of the fact that you are awakeness, or that I am awakeness, so to speak. I won't even say I am. So I say everything I say here today is just languaging to make it convenient and easier to pick up on what I'm saying, I hope. So what our relationship is grounded in is the number one thing that we both had loads of when we met each other was we both had loads of gratitude. I had gratitude because I was no longer I was sober, and I was no longer living in the park. I was no longer a damn homeless hobo. And which is, many of you know that was the story of this unit prior to trying out somebody else's management, so to speak. And when I gave up on trying to make sure that this thing had a great life, I started having a great life. But before that, it was all self-centered, and it couldn't have worked out. It just couldn't have worked out because everything would have been going this unit's way. And guess what? That's not the truth. That's not the way it's going. And you have to be honest about that too, if you want what we have. And so we started out with gratitude. And Betsy was also, she was a low bottom alcoholic slash drug addict. She had been a drug addict earlier in her life and still was, she was off of it when I met her. I had been off of it. Betsy was literally an IV drug addict. You can't imagine it because she just looked like the sweetest little a librarian or school teacher or whatever. And, but there's a lot going on there that I know of. But we were both sober and grateful when we met. And from that sobriety and gratitude, there came to be a gratitude for each other because our political views and are alike, and much of what I like she likes, much of what she likes I like. It's just what the personalities just really match up well. We're both crazy about animals, but I learned that from her. I wasn't really there prior to that. I didn't have anything against animals. I just didn't have anything really for them. But I do now. So it started out in gratitude, and then it moved into another type of gratitude where we were grateful for each other. And one of the things about being grateful for somebody is that you cannot be grateful to be with somebody and be disrespectful at the same time. May seem like you can, but not in my opinion. Betsy and I do not take each other for granted in any way, shape, or form. I mean, and neither do we try to mold the other one. We really don't. There has been some molding that has taken place through both these units. That's been, it appears to have come up from the other. But it was always something that I took from Betsy or she took from me. It was never anything that I said, now, this is the way it's got to be. This is what's true. And this is the way, you got to toe the line. And she certainly never did that with me, which is great because I'd have been out the window the moment she said it. And she would have been too, because that's just the type of folks that we are, is that we'll give and give and give, but don't try to take. Yeah. And we'll work with somebody who's telling the truth till the end of the earth, and we simply will not work with a liar because it knows it doesn't get you anywhere. We already know. We tried that. We were both professional liars. We were alcoholics trying to cover up our secret life, which means you lie all the time. Lie to your boss, lie to your parents, lie to your friends, lie to yourself, right? So the gratitude evolved the gratitude has not gone anywhere. I am still incredibly grateful for Betsy every day. And I probably tell her, she doesn't have to read my mind about that, because I probably tell her that I love her, how wonderful she is, and how thankful I am that she settled for an old guy like this. I don't know, 20, 30 times a day. I mean, it's a lot, and maybe it's 15 or 20, but it's a whole lot, whatever it is. It's not half a dozen, I can tell you that, because we're just touching base all the time. But she walks by my chair and she'll lean down to kiss me, and just tell her that I love her and I think she's wonderful. And she will say something maybe like that about me. And whoever speaks first, it's echoed. We know it's going to be echoed because that's just how we both feel. And we know that's how the other one feels, which comes in for the fact that, we don't want to let the other one down. So it means sometimes, you might have to hold your nose a little bit, but we had rather be free than be right. If Betsy and I have a little tit-tat thing going on, we will both break any barrier to try to get that resolved immediately at the shortest point, because only one of us goes crazy at a time usually. So the minute we realize things are out of order, I mean, we just want to get it back in order. So what do I need? It's not like who's right. What do I need to tell you in order for us to be okay? That's the truth, is that here is a wonderful way to have a happy life. And in my case, a happy wife, and probably in yours too, a happy spouse. Let them have the last word. Just let them have the last word, even when you know they're wrong. That happens here all the time. I mean, I will see that Betsy is categorically wrong about something. And I just don't, I will offer an initial opinion. And if she bypasses that, it's fine with me. I'll never mention it again. But then she'll come to me and say, oh, you know what? You were right. And the same thing happens the other way around. And I let Betsy be Betsy, and she lets Fred be Fred, or Betsy-ness, Fred-ness, whatever. But let's stick to English as much as we possibly can. So I let Betsy be Betsy. Betsy lets Fred be Fred. Nobody is trying to train the other one. No one is trying to bring is not trying to bring an agenda to the relationship. Our agenda is to keep this relationship happy and solid. That's our agenda. It's not for Fred to win the most. It's not for Betsy to win the most. We don't care. We don't care who's winning, because we know that whatever it is that's going on here, it's very special, and we want to cater to it. We want to bend in the wind, and again, let the other person have the last word, because none of this stuff we're talking about ever is important, right? I mean, it might be important, but it never really matters. In the end, come the end of our lives, none of that stuff will matter, right? And it won't matter to anybody else. So why make a fuss about it? Why make a mountain out of a molehill? And that's what couples are very, very, very good at. Because I hear people complain about their spouses, and inevitably, it's they make a mountain out of a molehill. And sometimes I will say, well, have you ever considered that they were right? Well, no, I hadn't really looked at it from that standpoint. Why don't you try it? See. Why don't you speak from their point of view? See what would happen. Because I'll speak from Betsy's, I'll speak from Santa Claus's point of view if it will make Betsy and I come together smoothly. And it's not that I have like some kind of obsession with things need to be going perfect over here, and we need to be showing everybody how enlightened we are, anything like that. Nothing like that. It's just the way that it happens. And as we both began to wake up, there was a lot of what I call wakefulness in Betsy's case when I first met her. I mean, I came to see, she was the most generous person I'd ever known. She didn't even think about it. She was just generous to a fault, literally to a fault. And I was very selfish. So, I began to notice that, gee, that's really nice. And, and look what it's done with her. It's made her really quite the person that other people just want to spend time with. They just do. She was adored in AI. Everybody loved Betsy. Everybody loved to just hear Betsy talk. And Betsy was about 3 years more sober, almost 3 years before I came around, I think. And it was close, somewhere in there. So I came in as a newcomer, and she was an old hand. I mean, if you hadn't had a drink in 2 years, that was like Methuselah never had a drink to me. I couldn't imagine not having a drink for 2 weeks, much less, 2 years. So I had to look at her as a mentor, and somebody to model around. And I didn't want any more of the life that I had been living up to that point. I will tell you that. I was open. That's what being broken will give you, if you will accept it. Is if you can be broken, if you can run out of ideas, if you can just be open to have life run by awakeness itself, and I call it God. I used to, and I still sometimes do. But if you can just let anything else, it doesn't matter what, right? Anything else run your life. My old AA sponsor, used to tell me, Fred, if I throw out a tennis ball, anybody who catches it can run your life better than you do. And damn it, he was right. So I finally had to give up on running this life. I don't run it now. I don't run this teaching. I don't run meetings. I don't run sessions. This unit shows up on time within relativity. and the rest happens. And even, of course, the unit showing up is actually just part of the happening. So I don't really do anything because there's not really anyone here. I know that there is no Betsy. Betsy knows there is no Fred, but we love that this is oneness and not sameness. Betsy is not other than me. I am not other than Betsy. But neither Betsy nor me or Betsy and Fred together hold a candle to the truth. The truth will make you humble. And this unit's arrogant. Everybody's seen that. Everybody knows that. But it's better than it used to be. It's a lot better than it used to be. And the funny thing is it acts on behalf of others now without thinking about it. You know, when it first started, I about went crazy. You know, generosity started, and I gave some money away one time, and I got about 50 yards from the scene. And I'm, what the hell have you done? Right? What are you doing? That's not good for you. Betsy and I adore each other. Can you say that about your mate? If you can't, but you feel like that you would like to adore her or him, try acting like it. Just fake it. Just fake the fact that you think that they're great. And you know what? They'll pick up on the fact that you think that they're great. And you will pick up on that too. You will start seeing the positive side of them. And this is not like, you know, I'm not trying to do a little Cinderella thing or whatever you call it. And it's nothing like that. This is small stuff. It's all small stuff. But the small stuff, and it grows like a snowball. Just start right now. Start today. Go and tell your significant other that you love them. Or go out and be nice to the world. You know, it used to be when people were nice to me. I swear to God, people went out of their way to be nice to me, and I would take credit for it. This is awful to admit, but it's true. And I would think, you know, well, you know, they're doing this because I'm such a nice guy. And it took getting sober and waking up for me to recognize that they're doing that because they're such nice people that they will take pity even on this slug. It wasn't, and it had nothing to do with me other than the fact that I was a human being in their general vicinity, and they helped people in their general vicinity the same way that Betsy and I do now. Our lives have turned upside down, but it has been absolutely wonderful. Because neither one of us had relationships like this. I had two wonderful wives, but you know, but I just wasn't any good for them. And that's the truth. I just ruined both those fine women within our marriage. Anyway, I just ruined their marriages. And Betsy had never had a relationship that lasted over 18 months. We've been together over 20 years now. And you know how much we fight? None. I'm not telling you that over 20 years, there hasn't been a little bantering. There has. And there's been a couple of times that we actually did have little fights early on. But that doesn't happen anymore. It doesn't go very far at all anymore. I don't need to retrain that unit. I don't need for it to see my way. I don't have to be the winner or the superior one or the dominant one or any of that. I just want to love my wife. I want to be able to love my wife. And she just wants to be able to love her husband and express it and have it be a fact within our experience. And we work at that. But it gets so easy. And it doesn't gets where it just doesn't feel like work at all. It's just like polishing a diamond now. That's all. Little dust gets on there, we polish it. I'm going to leave you with this. But if you would like to have that kind of relationship that I've just described, start yourself. Don't wait for the other person to start. You start. Even if they don't want to have that kind of relationship, start anyway. And at least, if nothing else, then when you break up, you can say, I really did my part there. And you'll feel good about that, I promise you. Because I've been nice to my second wife since the marriage ended. And I felt very good about that. I felt really, I have. I've just felt, I've been so joyful that I could help. Go and help somebody. Go and help somebody other than you. That's what it really boils down to is get the hell out of the way, out of the perfect marriage that is in your vicinity. It's in your life. You know what? I answered it. I love you too. Thank you so very much. I'll see you later. Bye bye. Mouse pointer. If I can find my mouse pointer. There it is. Bye.